Hey, it's time to prepare for opening day. So, I have been out of the Clubhouse for a little over 5 weeks. And I just haven't been, mentally prepared, physically prepared to get back in there and get open, get things prepared to be open. And I opened today. And so, as you can see, the yard is a mess. Yeah, the yard is a mess. Y'all see the handy dandy vacuum cleaner. So I am going to vlog myself getting ready for today. Luckily it is I only have one client today, so I can get some things done. But I'm going to show you exactly how I prepare to open my tutoring business for a semester. So hey, it's time to prepare for opening day. So I have been out of the Clubhouse for a little over 5 weeks. And I just haven't been, mentally prepared, physically prepared to get back in there and get open, get things prepared to be open. And I opened today. And so, as you can see, the yard is a mess. Yeah, the yard is a mess. Y'all see the handy dandy vacuum cleaner. So I am going to vlog myself getting ready for today. Luckily it is I only have one client today, so I can get some things done. But I'm going to show you exactly how I prepare to open my tutoring business for a semester. So go into Canva, and this is the actual advertisement that I created for the summer session. And so I run that campaign, I run that advertisement for a series probably of 10, 11 weeks. And as students start to sign up, I invoice them, and I use PayPal to invoice, but I invoice them through PayPal. I invoice them through my PayPal account. And my account is already up. So I create invoices through my PayPal accounts, and I send those invoices out to parents. And as I invoice them, as you can see here, these are all the invoices that I've sent out for this term. I'm able to go into my Google Sheets, and I keep a payment tracker. Or I go in and log into my payment tracker. So that's actually what I'm getting ready to do right now. I am going to enter in my clients' names for this semester, and then I'm going to record the payments that already have been made. Now, generally, I just invoice them for the first week of services, their materials fee, as well as their registration fee for the summer if they are a new client. And so right now, I'm going to filter this. So that it only shows my invoices. I don't know why it looks like this. So that it only shows my invoices for my paid invoices. Going to activity, I will be able to see, yes, who has sent their invoices in. So yes, here we are. So from this, I can go ahead and create my roster, and I like to put my roster in order by the day that they come, because it just makes it easier for me when I'm recording payments. I've already titled this sheet Summer 2022. I'm going to go in, because basically all I do is I use a sheet from the previous session. And so I go in and kind of delete the things that I don't need. So I want to insert a row below. Yeah, this is only asking above, so I'm gonna go here so I can do above. So I have that little line there because I am very anal. I am a visual learner, so sometimes I can read something and I have to visually see it in my brain first before I can actually make the changes. So anyway, now this session only has 6 weeks in it, so I will run this sheet for 6 weeks. And so I'm going to delete all these extra columns and rows that I have. Just like I said, I am very anal. Okay, and then sometimes I just go ahead and I leave the totals there because I am a numbers person and I like to see if I'm making my goal for each of the weeks from the at least meeting what I have made, what I've made the session prior to. Now this session is a shorter session. My other sessions are usually anywhere from 15 to 16 weeks. So of course I am not going to hit my threshold of monies this session, but what I do like to see is that my clients are actually taking advantage of their sessions and they are not doing a lot of cancellations. So I tend to leave those numbers there and not change them. So this week is the first week of sessions, and so I'm going to go ahead and delete this information here. This is what I use to kind of track attendance and track payment. Once a parent sends me payment, I come into this sheet and I record the payments. And so a lot of times this is done fairly quickly. Okay, so I have a blank sheet, and so now I'm going to go ahead and enter in payments that parents have made already. So I'll have record of that, okay? And that I do fairly quickly. It doesn't take a long time. And you'll see some of my kids, because this is a holiday weekend, normally I give the kids the first week of summer off and then we jump into our first session. But this year I am doing it a little differently, where I am starting a week early. So some of my kids will not attend this session, although they will not attend this first week session, although their parents have paid. They won't attend this week, and so we'll just put that payment to next week, and they won't have to pay a cancellation fee or anything because it's a holiday week. So I'm going to finish doing this, and then I'm going to come back and tell you guys what I do next. To cross-reference what I've received through PayPal, because that's how I receive my payments, and what I have reported, just to make sure that everything is correct. A lot of times, if you don't do that, you end up making minute mistakes, and when I go in hand my accountant my taxes, I like to make sure that everything is like perfect. I don't want to leave out a quarter. I don't want to leave out 20 cents. I want to make sure that it all aligns. And so I'm just looking over this. Like I said, I'm a visual learner, so if I've typed something in, I have mentally noted that I can mentally note that I've already received payment. And so one kid I did miss was Madison. I did enter in her payment. All right, so all payments have been received. So what I do is I log out of here. Normally I'll go back and I'll look at like how much money I'm making, how was it compared to last year date to this year's date, just to make sure I'm on track to making more money than what I did last year, because that's important, right? So my next step is I've already taken care of the financials, and so I'm just gonna double cross this, check really quickly to make sure I didn't make any errors. I did. All right, so I have a fairly small class this year, and we're going to talk about, or a fairly small group of kids this summer, and it was on purpose. I pray before I start a session I start to pray and petition God and just let him know what my heart is, and if it's not in line with what he wants me to do, to change it. And so this year I wanted to focus in on social media and some other things that I'm trying to get out, like subscription boxes, and hopefully getting my own brick and mortar building for younger kids to start my academy. So those are some things that I want to put into place. And so I know I need to do the leg work. I've kind of lost my little focus. And so now I am trying to dedicate this summer to running my business as well as doing some other behind the scenes work. So I'm not going to make as much money this summer as I normally make because I'm limiting the number of kids that I'm taking in. So anyhow, I am ready to move on to planning for these munchkins, and I will show you guys how I kind of look at who I'm servicing this semester. I have parents mail things into me, but then I go in and I create a learning plan for them. All right, so as you can see, I have my students and they're clustered right now by grade level. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and see which of these students have like abilities, like they have like needs. Cut them a little face off, y'all, but they have like needs. So I have a student, just one student that's in first grade, and I haven't seen him since last summer. So I'm going to leave him in that cluster by himself because I don't have any like children to put with him. But once I meet with him in the first session, I might be able to cluster him with the second graders, just depending on where his ability level is. Then I have 4 different students that are going to the 4th grade, but I know that they have some needs that might not be characteristic of a traditional 4th grader. So those students I'm going to look at. One, I don't know, like I've never met with that kid before, but the parent has given me some information and he kind of fits the profile of some of the other students. So one of the kids, I'm going to, I'm gonna leave that cluster just like it is. I'm gonna leave that cluster alone. I have a kindergarten baby, or a baby that's going into kindergarten, and I've had him since he was age 3. So his learning plan generally is a cluster of some things, like phonemic awareness. I'm going to incorporate some math into his day once a week because he's coming to me 3 days a week. So he'll be a little unique oddball too by himself when I'm creating a learning plan. I have an 8th and a 7th grader. They generally work on the same cluster of skills. So I'm going to leave them together. I've had them for years too together, so I can kind of create a curriculum for them. And then I have one 5th grader that I'm going to go ahead and slide into this 4th grade group, and probably try to cluster their learning together. So when I look at this, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. No, hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different learning plans that I'm going to offer. So, like I said, throughout the year or throughout the summer, I try to create something that's a little bit different, just so I can pique the interest of the student. And so I am, or have been, kind of like thinking, like, Lord, what is it that I can put together that I haven't done before to kind of get their learning going? And so I think I'm going to do like a plant unit, and then I like the habitat unit, where I knew I could, we can kind of look at different habitats and learn about different habitats as we integrate those science skills in there and those reading skills. So I'm thinking about that, a plant unit, a habitat unit. And I don't know what I'm going to do for my older kids. We did social issues. Maybe I'll do something like social justice with them. So I'm still kind of thinking. And so after I come up with my little plan, so I said plants, habitats. I'm not real sure about that plant unit. I'm still, seems a little boring. And social justice. What I'll do next is kind of like think about pulling in some text that I can look at around there, around those different units. And then what are some of the different activities I can incorporate and integrate within their lessons. But before I do that, because these kids that I'm working with this summer, they're all tutorial kids. They're not enrichment kids, even though I'm offering something a little bit different by giving them some enrichment type activities. Their main purpose for being here is to remediate learning. And so I have a EasyCBM account with EasyCBM, and I use that to kind of track kids' progress. And like I said, if you guys are interested in understanding why I'm doing what I'm doing, or why I use what I use, comment below and let me know, and I'll give you another video on why I do what I do. I have a consulting side of my business where I sit with educators and kind of consult them on the whys behind how we can move kids forward. But anyhow, so what I'll do is I need to go and set up that account for each of them. This first session that they'll come to me, I'm going to get their baseline, and then every 2 weeks I record that baseline. And I just want to make sure over the period of time I am actually impacting their learning. So every 2 weeks I report to the parent and let the parent know, hey, this is the growth that this kid has made. Okay, so I'm going to stop this right here so I can go ahead and create their EasyCBM accounts, and then I'll print out all of the EasyCBM probes that they'll have. I actually have some kids that I have during the school year, they're on a different phonics track, but some of my new babies, they won't be on that same phonics track because it just doesn't make sense to put them on that. So what I do is I create something outside for them. So I do try to offer phonemic awareness or phonics wherever the kid is. I do some type of word analysis, word, parts of speech, those type things. And then I have, if the student still needs fluency, I incorporate some fluency and of course comprehension. So those are the five, four, however you want to look at it. I make sure I integrate all of these things into their learning plan. Okay. All right. So my next step is to record like the students' names, and then I put like what grade they're in, and then the discipline that they're working on. And like I said, this summer is a little bit unique because all I have are reading students. But I want to see if I can cluster these students that have the same needs to create a curriculum for them, because it just makes it smarter on my end. It's less work if I can cluster them according to their needs, and then I can create that learning plan. So that's what I'm going to actually do now. I take that same roster that I created, I write those babies' names down, and then I record the grade that they're in, okay? And I kind of create like a quad so I can see where my students are falling. And I actually record not the grade that they're in, but the grade that they are going into, okay? So as you can see, that's basically what I'm doing here. I'm writing the student's name down and just simply the grade that they are going into. And as I find students that are going into the same grade, they go into the same cluster. Okay. Now you'll see that as I'm looking at some of the grades, I think about their ability levels too, because I have parents submit like the students' present levels. And so it gives me an opportunity to kind of see where my babies are, what their needs are. I can kind of put them together according to their ability. So not necessarily all the time will they fall in that same category as their grade. Some of them may fall in a category according to what their ability level is or the needs that they have academically. All right, so I was able to share with you guys how I get started for this new session. You were able to see how I prep the clubhouse, meaning cleaning and get things together, put away old material, how I get ready for the next set of kids coming in, the incentives, how I cluster my students, how I get the payments out, all of those things we were able to cover. And then how I decide on their learning plan and the services that I'm going to offer, and even some of the things that I do for assessment. So if you are interested in learning more about how to start your tutoring business, being coached on starting a tutoring business or any kind of edpreneur business, please give us a contact at McKenzie's Clubhouse Professional Educational Consulting. I know that's a mouthful. You can look us up on Facebook. We're there. You can look us up on Twitter, and we're there also. You can send me an email at McKenzie's Clubhouse at gmail.com if you're interested in being coached, or you're interested in just chatting. Let me know, and I will be able to assist and help you. It has been my complete pleasure to take you along on this journey with me. In about an hour, my first client will be here, so I want to go ahead and get ready to make sure I'm ready to receive her. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.